What's up, beautiful world? This is TNA Top Notch Audio, and welcome to another episode of r/malicious compliance. Our first story will be cameras on for Zoom, and then door girl decisions, followed by boss won't approve OT, so I work exactly 40 hours a week until I tried to quit. And finally, hair too long for dress code. If this is your first time listening, remember to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Enjoy the stories. And this story is posted by u/Henfrid, cameras on for Zoom. I'm taking Zoom classes in college, and the teacher demanded we turn on our cameras. One person complied to show the whole class him sitting in his underwear eating ramen, open bottle of vodka next to him, and roommate with a bong in the background. Haven't had to turn on our cameras again yet. And this story is posted by u/SB Hoohaha, door girl decisions. Just a quick bit of perfect malicious compliance. I used to work at a very fancy bar and club, think of a 2-story ballroom nightclub. My job was to be door girl, where I stood next to security and decided if people could come in or not, whereas the security takes care of checking IDs and if the person is too drunk. A guy came up in line and the security did their checks of ID and such, which the guy passed. As one of my rules, I had to send away any guy not wearing a collared shirt, and this guy was wearing a normal tee. I told him so, and he left with his mates. Next minute, he's back in line with 2 napkins from a club across the road tucked in the neck of his shirt to look like a collar. Couldn't turn away a guy with a collar, and as dang brilliant as that. And this story is posted by u/my cat sits like he's PPL. Boss won't approve OT, so I work exactly 40 hours a week until I tried to quit. When I was in my 20s, I worked at a tiny coffee and wine bar establishment. It sold coffee in the mornings and had a wine and beer license for the evening crowd. Its selling point was that it had food pairings for all of its drinks, both coffee and alcohol. It was a fairly new business, only a year old. It had a bare-bones staff, and the owner herself tended bar in the evenings, usually solo, because the tips were better and she could keep them all for herself. I was one of 2 baker, chef, line cooks, making all the food to be paired with the drinks. We always worked opposite each other and split the day and night shifts, so we each had some evenings free. Owner was a 40-something single lady with no food service background or experience. She very proudly stated that she invented every recipe on the menu, but her inexperience was obvious. For example, her cupcake icing was 50% Crisco, stuff like that. She came from the corporate world and had turned her hobby into a business as a middle finger to her old bosses. She was always complaining about being single, about money troubles, about how hard the work was, about her life in general. It was just so much negativity. My boyfriend at the time would sometimes come in towards the end of my evening shifts, buy an overpriced beer at the bar, and we'd leave together. I could see the jealousy on her face every darn time. Owner hated paying overtime and got on my case any week I had any OT, even if it was 15 minutes. I had been in kitchen since I was 15, so by now I was a seasoned chef who could easily do 12 hours without even looking at the clock. This was the first place I had worked at where I had such an inexperienced boss and wasn't expected to do 60+ hours a week. I finally had enough of her nitpicking, and here's where the MC kicks in. I started noting the exact time I clocked in, and on a big piece of masking tape, I would write the exact time 8 hours later that I would clock out. I would put that piece of tape right in front of my station where everyone could see, and so would she. If I clocked in at 12:58 p.m., you bet your buns I was clocking out at 8:58 p.m. Even rush be darned. If someone ordered food after I left, she either had to make it herself or tell them the kitchen was closed, which defeated the purpose of having food pairings in the first place. She was the one who made the schedules, so it's not like I made things more difficult for her on purpose. Her lack of experience led to her being severely understaffed at crucial times, and by that point, I didn't care enough to enlighten her. She wouldn't pay us OT, but she also wouldn't hire more people, so stuff just didn't get done. After a few months of this, I was just done working there and quickly found a new job. I told them I could start in 2 weeks so I could give notice to my old job as a professional courtesy. I typed up a generic resignation letter that had my end date 2 weeks later. I gave it to Ona when she came in near the end of my shift. When I clocked out, she said not to bother coming in the next day. I was fired. I shrugged and left. I decided to take the 2 weeks as a staycation of sorts. At a friend's suggestion, I applied for unemployment since I was technically fired and actually got benefits for 1 week before starting my new job, so it was like a paid vacation, which is unheard of in the food world. Last I heard, the place closed after 10 years because she wasn't making money and she went back to the corporate world. She did get married, so yay for that. I wish her nothing but the best. She wasn't a bad person, just bad at being a boss. And this story is posted by u/NoGoodDM. Hair too long for dress code. A few years ago, I was a department manager for a large conference center. I ran the top performing department as determined by guest feedback surveys by a large margin. Like no other department out of 1,200 employees was even close. And my dress style was always nice and professional. Dress code didn't say we needed to have on button-up shirts and ties, but I did it anyway because I looked great and professional, and I met with the leaders of large conferences multiple times per day. I dressed to impress. They were my clients, and whatever their problem was, I was going to fix it. My demeanor and professional attire did great things to alleviate their concerns. My bosses got on a dress code kick for some reason. They made me and my small department, 6 people total, start wearing lame, colorful, standardized shirts with the logo on front. The rationale was that the clients should be able to identify me as a staff member. I get the logic, but that was what my lanyard and name badge were for. Plus, the bright and colorful dress and code shirt was actually detrimental to my work, as I often work backstage as a tech during band performances. Industry standard color for techs is black, but they wanted me to wear bright yellow. Okay. I tell them my concerns for my shirt's bright colors being a distraction for the audience as I do work backstage. My bosses don't care. They made up a new dress code and want me to follow it. Fine. So I wear the shirt, but then I also wear a nice sweater vest, or just a vest, on top of it. Still got my tie on. I like ties. But to make it explicitly clear, I'm staff. I get my own hat made at my own expense too. That shows the company's name on it. Again, my badge and lanyard are always visible. But now I can do my backstage work without being a distraction to the audience that might glimpse my movement as I go about doing scene changes, etc. But then my bosses tell me that the company's logo has to be visible on my shirt and I therefore can't wear a vest. So then I get the company's logo embroidered on my shirt sleeve, also at personal expense. Problem solved, right? I'm wearing the shirt they gave me and the company's logo is visible. At this point, my boss is pissed at me and is trying to write me up for any possible infringement of the company policies. I know how to read a room, and I immediately start going to the HR director to approve of my new and evolving malicious compliances of the ever-changing dress code policy. My boss says that we can't wear hats. Okay, fine. My hair is visible for all to see, and I quickly become aware of the next thing my bosses are going to tell me to fix: my hair. They're going to cite some vague language in the employee handbook about hair length. So I go to the HR director preemptively and ask for clarification for hair length. After a 10-minute conversation, we both agree that I am perfectly fine with nothing to worry about. My hair is nice, in a bun, and looks good. It's well kept and stylish, and my specific clientele actually really like it because they're mostly hipsters anyway. But my bosses don't see it that way. They say that my hair is too long and needs to be cut. I asked him how long is too long. I am, after all, a rule follower and will obey the rules. One of my bosses, a woman with long hair that is actually against dress code because it's not put up into a bun, says that my hair should be less than shoulder length. My hair was in a man bun. I asked her if that policy extends to women as well. She says no, obviously that this dress code only applies to men. Apologetically and feigning ignorance, I ask her to show me where it says that in the employee handbook. She shows me the section where it says that if the hair is longer than shoulder length, regardless of the gender, it should be kept in a bun. I tell her that my hair is in a bun as opposed to hers. Oh man, now it's getting real. I just called them out. They're not happy. My other boss, a guy with super short hair, less than 1/4 of an inch long, tells me that as a guy, my hair shouldn't touch my shirt's collar. He tells me that a few stray hairs of mine are touching my collar. I pull out my phone and take a picture of them. I show him that even his 1/4 hair is touching the collar. His head was leaned back and his hair was touching his collar. I asked him again to clarify how long is too long because his 1/4 hair is too long for their standards. Side note, I love my thick hair. Someone telling me to cut it arbitrarily speaks fighting words. Then they tell me that I just need to do what I'm told because it's company policy, and if I don't do it, they'll get HR involved. I tell them I already got HR involved, and the HR director explicitly told me that my hair was perfectly fine. But these two bosses of mine just wouldn't let it go. They had to go after my hair. They told me that since I'm a manager and meet with group leaders, I have to go above and beyond what the dress code says, and I have to act professional in order for us to receive good guest feedback regarding professionalism. I tell them that me and my department are already the most professional and highest rated department according to guest feedback surveys. I take the printout of the survey results out from my bag because I anticipated my lack of professionalism was going to be questioned and had it printed in advance. And I showed them the survey. They read it, tossed the paper aside, and tell me to cut my hair or be written up. Fine. The next day I come into work with a shaved head. They never told me to cut my hair again because I look far worse with no hair. Coincidentally, they also let me wear my hat again. Haha. But only because my shaved head was a sore sight. As a point of interest, when I resigned from my position a year later, I submitted to HR my 80-point paper why my two bosses caused me to leave the organization, how they stifled me and my department from doing legitimately good and quality work, and how I felt that under their leadership, I was incapable of ever winning. A month after I left, I heard from a friend and previous coworker who was still at the company that my direct boss was forced to retire and my other boss was fired. My friend told me that they were privy to a conversation held between the CEO and my female boss, the one who was fired. And my friend overheard the CEO say, "Your time here at this company is over. And I want you to know that when you're gone, your position will not be filled. Consider you and your position eliminated." Lastly, I haven't cut my hair since I left, apart from occasional trims. It's now almost 3 feet long, and I plan on giving my gorgeous lion's mane away to some charity that deals with making wigs for kids. Oh man, those were 4 great stories. To hear the best stories of the week, click on the video in the top left-hand corner. To hear more Reddit stories all related to what you just heard, click on the video in the top right-hand corner. And if you have not already done so, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, this is TNA, Top Notch Audio. Thank you for listening and have yourself a great day.